Hey, this is Julia. It's Saturday, August 27th, and I've really been looking forward to doing this live. One of the things that makes it easier for me and for you so that I don't ramble, and because I'm very nearsighted and I can't see some of the comments, is I asked for questions up front, and you guys came up with some really great questions. And I just retired in June as a university professor in the art and design, fashion design space, and I've realized that I'm just an educator through and through, and I love to share information and help other people reach their goals, whatever they are. And now it's really pivoted into fitness, so I'm super excited about sharing today and answering some of your questions. So I'm going to get right to it and try not to ramble. I've also organized these in terms of topic. A lot of people had the same questions asked in a different way. So one of the first questions, and this is the more overview questions here in the beginning, what made you change your lifestyle? And I think many of my darling followers on Instagram know this story. But what made me change my lifestyle was realizing when I was 62 years old that in 2 years I was going to have a very special anniversary. It was going to be 30 years since I had a double organ transplant, which cured my childhood diabetes and gave me a working kidney. And I just kind of woke up that day and thought, I have to make the most of the rest of this life. I'm 62. I don't have a lot of time. Well, maybe I do, but you just sort of feel like, okay, it's now or never, no more messing around. So that made me change my lifestyle overnight. And what was your first step in starting this journey? My first step on several levels. On a mindset level, my first step was just believing I could get fit and be lean and healthy and strong. That was my first step in mindset. I just knew that I was that woman already. And then my physical step, or I would say the step I took for my body, was I found an online challenge and I entered it. It was a 3-month challenge, and it reintroduced me to lifting weights. It gave me a community. It gave me accountability. And I won the challenge. I mean, I didn't even know there was going to be a winner. So that was really my first step in starting the journey, getting the basics down with a knowledgeable coach and group and having a community of people in my age group. So this was for 40 plus. So easy on the joints. And it just reintroduced me to how much I loved lifting weights, which I did in my 40s. What was your biggest challenge when you first started your transformation? I'll tell you, it wasn't mindset. It wasn't motivation. It wasn't anything having to do with self-sabotage. What it was my self-confidence. I didn't want to go to the gym. I was an out of shape, overweight 62-year-old. And we were living in Mexico at the time. I was teaching at a university there. We lived in this newish, modern high-rise that was in an up-and-coming neighborhood. So there were a lot of young people that lived in the building and went to the university nearby. And I just didn't want to go to the gym. They're going to look at me and say, who's this old granny in the gym? That was my biggest obstacle. And then I just started feeling better every day that I worked out. And I thought, damn, I belong here. This is my gym too. I pay for this. I'm in an apartment here. And I just went in and decided, like, I own the gym, and I wasn't embarrassed, because when you carry that sort of that vibe of not confident and embarrassed and whatever, people pick it up. And they may not have even thought, oh, look at the granny in here before. But if you bring that energy in, they're going to be like, what is she doing in here? So anyway, that was really my biggest challenge, was getting the confidence to go to the gym. And now I go to the most wonderful gym I have a membership to 3 different gyms. I know, I know. But anyway, my favorite gym is a true meathead gym where it's mostly guys. Once in a while, I see a woman there, and I'm not embarrassed at all to go in there and just do my thing. And so anyway, things have changed. How do you kick your own butt to get the mindset and just start? That's a great question, because I don't believe in, what's the word, guilting myself, kicking my own butt. Okay, maybe in the gym, kick my butt, like progressive overload, more weight and everything. But I don't believe in pushing myself to do something that I am just getting used to doing, for one thing. But I think you just have to make up your mind and love yourself enough that you want to do this. You want to be healthy. You want to be strong. You want to be, feel glamorous again, especially if you're a 50-plus woman. You just want to feel good in your body. So I just remember that all the time after I've worked out and how good I feel, and it builds on itself. It's like a biofeedback loop. What is your routine? A lot of people ask that. What do you do in the gym? What do you eat? And really, my routine is given to me by my coach, and he and I have goals, or he knows what my goals are. If I'm, building for a competition, cutting for a competition, or, it's just a maintenance period off season. But I would say on average, my routine is to work out for an hour, 5 days a week in the gym. That's like an average. Right now, when I'm in contest prep, it's 6 days a week in the gym and maybe an hour to an hour and a half. And I've gotten faster in the gym. I once posted that I'd worked out like 2 hours in the gym one morning, and a woman emailed me and said, "You must not have a very good coach if you have to work out 2 hours in the gym." But that was about a year ago. And a year ago, I'm still very careful in the gym. I take my time. I rest between sets. When you take those big plates off barbells, you have to be so careful. You don't want to drop them. So number one, I don't want to get injured, so I take my time. And I thought, she doesn't understand that. And yes, I have a fabulous coach, so, some people just don't understand. How often per week do you train? Like I said, 5 to 6 times. How often cardio? Right now, I'm doing 30 minutes of cardio 6 days a week, because there's been a little change in my goals, which I'll tell you guys about later on Instagram. When you're cutting, actually my coach had me doing the week up into the show, up until peak week, 2 hours of cardio a day. Yeah, it's a lot. And training, it's a lot. So I would do an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening with my training in between there. How often do I do arms? I would say I do an upper body, lower body split during the week. And if I do arms, it might be shoulders, it might be biceps, it might be triceps. So I might do shoulders and glutes one day, and then back and triceps another day. So pretty much every day I'm working either my shoulders, one part of my upper body, at least in this particular time of routine. Have you experienced menopause affecting your routine? Actually, no, I haven't. I haven't. Do you lift on your menstrual cycle? God, I love you, whoever asked that question, because I haven't had one of those, a menstrual cycle, in, gosh, what has it been now? 15 years? Ladies, don't be afraid of menopause. It's fantastic not to have a period. I do know from the younger athletes on Team Pro Physique, which is the team I'm on, my coach is Paul Ravella, the young ladies who are in their 20s and 30s that, of course, are still have their cycles. Yes, they lift during their cycles. They figured it out. There's actually, supplements out there that some of them take. I would do, if you're experiencing any issue with that, I would just do some research online. How do you train for endurance? That's my cardio. I think the 30 minutes of cardio is a great baseline. Aerobic activity does so much for your brain, for your blood flow, for your conditioning. I'm not an endurance athlete. That would be someone like my brother who doesn't lift weights. He's in his early 50s, but he runs marathons and he runs every day. He's an endurance athlete. So in weightlifting, it's not so much endurance, although that's important, and stamina, but I'm not, aerobically taxing myself over a period of time. Does it matter in what order I do my weightlifting exercises in? Yes, I think it's recommended that you start with the smaller muscles first and move on to the bigger muscles. At what age did you start training? I was actually 62. So it's been over 3 years since I started this very serious fitness journey, which is now my everyday lifestyle. Although I did lift weights in my early 40s and I lost a lot of body fat and put on muscle, and my weight changed by about 25 pounds, but then life happened. A lot more was going on in my early 40s, and it was a lifestyle I couldn't keep up, which is why I love Queenagers, because a lot of us, we are at a stage in our life where we can dedicate time to working out, fitness, food planning, just taking care of ourselves. How can we weight train without going to the gym? Excellent question. Make a home gym. I had a home gym for the first, I would say, 9 months. So we moved from Mexico back to the U.S. and I had a home gym. And then COVID hit and everybody had a home gym. So if you've got dumbbells and resistance bands at home and maybe a Swiss ball and a weight bench, that's all you need. And that's what a lot of people did during COVID and still got super fit. I know I stayed fit and also lost more fat in my home gym. So you don't need to go to the gym, but you do need to invest in some home equipment. Let's see, how long did it take to lose weight with your routine? That question I've got to kind of unpack. Because for me, it never was about losing weight. It was about getting strong. It was about being healthy. And if our goal is only to lose weight, we're going to fall back into that diet mentality that we have followed for decades. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So how long did it take to lose weight with my routine? It's gone like this, for one thing, because at first it was like fat loss and muscle gain. So my weight did go down. And then I did a show and it was very low. And then we brought it back up and I did a build. And then I did a cut for the second. So weight loss is really one of these side effects of working out. As a goal, it isn't very strong because once you reach your goal, then what? So I don't really like to think about weight loss, but I will tell you that when I first started working out in April 2019, in August, which was May, June, July, 4 months later, it took me that long to lose 10 pounds, okay? But that was scale weight. My body had tightened and I had gained muscle. So as I lost fat, I gained muscle. So it really wasn't even a true number. Let's see. Can I build muscle 3 days a week with a total body workout? I think you can if you're doing progressive overload and you're pushing yourself but not getting injured. A total body workout, yes, and you're resting 1 day in between so your muscles can recover. How long did it take you from the beginning to stage? That was about 2 years. Do you have joint pain? Actually, no, I don't. I don't get joint pain. If you have joint pain, talk to your doctor first about where it is, what it is, when it comes on. If you get joint pain at the gym, stop whatever you're doing. Don't exacerbate whatever issue it is. If you get joint pain just because you had a good workout, when you get home, either take an Epsom salt bath, use ice, or use heat. But definitely talk to your doctor if you have joint pain. Do you have loose skin on your arms after weight loss? Yeah, actually, crepey skin. You know, guys, aging is changing. It's not bad. Your body is gonna go through changes. It's part of aging, but it's really not aging. It's just your body's changing. And so some of the other questions I got, any way to fix saggy knees, how to keep your skin not too big for your body when you lose weight and it's loose. I don't even put my attention on that stuff. Guys, I've got wrinkles. I've got, like bags under my eyes. So what? Who cares? I'm healthy. I get to live the life I want. I feel independent. And I think those little things that we think, oh, my saggy knees, and I'm not downplaying or minimizing those concerns for anybody, but I think that we should be more concerned about our heart health. We should be more concerned about our longevity. We should be more concerned about what we're eating than saggy knees and crepey skin and wrinkles and stuff like that. I've earned my wrinkles. I've earned, everything you see on me, I have earned. It's like a roadmap of my life. And if you smile a lot, that's the best facelift you can have. So I don't really have good answers for those questions. I know there are things out there you can do, microneedling, massage. I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff, but I don't take advantage of them. I prefer to be natural, just like I don't take any, supplements, steroids, or anything like that. And these women you see who are extremely, like, if you just covered their face and their chest, you'd think, oh, that's a man's body. They want to look that way, and they're taking supplements to look that way. So if you lift weights, you're not gonna look that way. And we're called natural athletes when we don't take it. Or natty. Natty is kind of a cute nickname. Why do my knees sound crunchy when I walk up the stairs? I had to laugh at that one, and I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that we could hear my mom coming up and down the stairs all the time because her knees crackled and popped. I think it's just something to do with the joints, but I don't have an answer for that. How do you manage the toll on emotional and mental health while cutting for a show? Actually, I go into a cut for a show expecting it to be great, expecting it to be exciting, expecting it to be a learning experience, not like, oh my God, here we go, cutting for another show. When my coach told me I had to do 2 hours a day of cardio before peak week, that was my reaction. Oh my God, 2 hours on a treadmill? Are you serious? And then I thought, okay, we're not going there. And I did this, what I call a nanosecond mind shift, where I just went into, I can do this. I can do this. How am I going to do this? And I realized that I had not caught up with YouTube videos for about 1.5 years. And what I like to watch are YouTube videos like, you guys will laugh, The Voice, America's Got Talent, American Idol, Britain's Got Talent, because it's showing me people realizing their dreams, and I get so emotional, and they're so fun and uplifting. So I caught up on those, and an hour would just go by like that. So there is always a solution. There is, the emotional and mental toll. If I start feeling depleted, I'll let my coach know, and what he does is then he says, okay, we're going to take a diet break. And what that means is he'll bring my cardio down and he'll bring my carbs up. And my body has adapted to the low carbs, the low macros or the low calories, leading up to peak week and a cut. And then when it goes up, my body's like, oh yeah, we like this. And you can actually drop more weight because your body's adapted to the lower calories, and now you're giving it more, and your metabolism gets like a boost. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. It's like it flares up. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I think it takes a few cycles of cutting and building for your body to get to that point. It took me 3 years to get to that point. Have you ever done reverse dieting? Do you do this when you're done competing typically? Yes, that's the whole idea that you get stage lean. I don't even know what my body fat percentage is when I'm on stage or when I'm competing, but you don't stay there. You're there for one day, excuse me, and then you reverse out of those low calories and those small number of macros that are your carbohydrates. So I don't like the word dieting, but it really is reverse dieting, where you're building back up your caloric intake and your hormones are coming back into play, and you're getting, bodybuilding for stage like that isn't all that healthy. It's a challenge for me. I enjoy it. I know I can do it, and I like sort of pushing my body. But then we reverse out of that after a show and get right back to, still training, still doing a little cardio, but really eating more food. The only way you can build muscle is if you eat. What are your daily calorie goals during a cut versus a build? That's a good question. So I'll just give you again an average. My lowest calories during a cut have been 1,100. During a build, 1,800. And during the build, 1,800 calories a day, I wasn't putting on fat. I was putting on muscle, because we were being very careful about upping the carbs and keeping the protein and fats, stable. The muscles are the ones that get fueled by the carb. So that's about a 700 calorie difference. That's a lot of food. And I'm only 5'1". So I'm shorter, smaller. I can't eat as much as, say, a 5'10", big-boned female who's a bodybuilder. But that's okay. I'm used to that. Do you take any supplements? I don't. And I don't because someone also asked, am I still on anti-rejection medication for my organ transplant? Yes. I will be on that for the rest of my life. And some of the side effects are minor, but there are side effects. And I don't take supplements because they can be contraindicated with my anti-rejection medication. They can affect each other in a way that hasn't been well researched. Unfortunately, I believe sports supplements, herbal supplements, and anything that's not regulated by the FDA, at least in the U.S., is suspect to having not good side effects. And so I don't play around with that. I do take vitamins. I take, multivitamin. I take fish oil. I take vitamin C, vitamin D3. I take turmeric, that's more of a spice herb, which is good for inflammation. And then I take other medications for not having a thyroid, and then my anti-rejection medication. So when anybody asks me, should I take this, should I take that? I'm not a doctor. I don't know if you should. You should talk to your doctor. If somebody has kidney problems and they don't know, and I say, oh yeah, you should take this. And I would just be devastated to tell somebody something that could hurt their health. So I just stay away from that 100%. What was the other question? There was another question about that. Yeah. Do you recommend taking creatine? That's one no, I don't take, so I can't recommend it. A lot of people swear by it. A lot of people say, oh, it doesn't make a difference. There's a lot of opinions out there. There's research out there that you can look up. But I don't take it, so I certainly wouldn't recommend it because I don't really know what it could do for you. Can collagen peptides count toward daily protein goal? Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Just watch the macros. How many grams of protein are in the collagen peptide that you're adding to your smoothie or your cereal? What brand of pasta do you use? Actually, any brand. I've been trying lately a gluten-free pasta, but I haven't found it makes any difference to me. So I just get regular pasta in the box at the grocery store. Are peppers good to accelerate metabolism and burn fat? You know what? I have no idea. I have no idea. But there's certain foods that are good to accelerate metabolism and burn fat. And those are whole foods, plant-based foods, clean protein, healthy fats, complex carbs. What do you eat in a day? Again, really hard to say, but I will tell you this. I eat a lot of the same things every day. Just because it's easy with food prep. It's easy with just going to the refrigerator and there it is. I know what I'm going to have. I plan everything, usually the day before, the night before, and the food I need to make my meals is already ready and the refrigerator just needs to be heated up. Do you think weight loss is 80% diet? That's one of those questions again that, no, I don't think it's 80% diet. I think diet's important, nutrition I like to say, weight training for weight loss, low stress levels for weight loss, getting a good night's sleep for weight loss, tracking what you're eating for weight loss. But over all of that, to me, 100% is for weight loss, to me, is mindset. It's mindset. How are you going into this? Do you hate yourself? Do you hate your body? Are you punishing yourself with this horrible diet of 1,200 calories a day, taking aside cutting for a show? But, you know those diets. Here's your meal plan, 1,200 calories. And you can't eat this, this, and this, and this. And do cardio. Nothing about weight training. Your body doesn't change. Yes, it loses weight, but you don't build muscle. So I think, again, that the goal of weight loss is so one-dimensional, and there are so many factors that affect weight loss, but your goal should be to be healthy. That should be, to me, the goal, because that's something we can work at every day. If it's just weight loss, you get to that number on the scale and you're like, okay, I'm done. I met my goal. Same with meal plans, and I'm going to get into food here a little bit more too, because people asked a lot about macros. Do you drink coffee or tea? Definitely coffee. Oh my God, I'm so into coffee. I love coffee. I love coffee. I like tea too, but not as often. What do you have for breakfast? I have quick oats, oatmeal, and I mix in egg whites and protein powder and stevia, and I put butter on top, and it is so delicious, and it holds me for hours. And I go to the gym. I have so much energy, and at night, I'm not lying. At night, I'm thinking about that bowl of oatmeal I'm gonna have in the morning because it's so delicious. It is so yummy. How do you figure out what your meals will be? I work with a macro plan, and I work with my coach on what our goals are. So, we figure out if I'm in a diet break or I'm in a cutting phase or a build phase or a maintenance phase. And all of that is a very sort of individual goal-oriented number. Sometimes women send me messages and say, what should my macros be? And I'm so sorry to tell them, I can't tell you that because I don't know you. I don't know your goals. I don't know your diet history. I don't know your body weight, your height, your age. There's so much about you I don't know. And if I just throw numbers out there, it's irresponsible. And the macro plan idea is very dynamic. It changes. You're not seeing results, you make changes. Things are happening, you make changes. So it's a very dynamic process. The thing I love about macros is that, it's been coined flexible dieting because basically, if you can work it into your macros, you can have it. And I'm going to get to alcohol in a minute because I got a lot of questions about wine and alcohol. But, if you can work it into your macro plan, you can have it. So tonight, I have a hot date with my husband, and we're going to a Cuban restaurant, and there's a jazz band there. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm going to eat what I want because this morning, or actually it was yesterday, I went online, I looked at their menu, I figured out, oh gosh, I could have that, I could have that, I could have that. So when I started eating today on my macro plan, I know I'm saving some macros for tonight. It's going to fit in. No guilt, no regret. It's flexible. So if you wake up one morning and you want to have a donut, if it works in your macro plan, have a donut. Plan for it. Whereas if you're given a meal plan, the attitude is, okay, I'm on a meal plan, and then you blow it over the weekend and you think, okay, well, I'll get back on my meal plan Monday. So it's an on or off thing. Whereas with flexible dieting or a macro plan, where you're choosing the foods you like and not eating the stuff you don't like, but it's all within a parameter to help you with your goals, you don't feel deprived. You don't feel restricted. And so there's not that feeling of being so good all week and saying to hell with it on the weekend. It's an ongoing thing. It's just the most amazing thing. And it's human psychology. It's all about human behavior, changing your behavior and eating the foods you love and not depriving yourself, period. That's what it's about. And then how do you figure them out? You need a coach for that, actually, and who's someone who can work with you. What are macros, micros? Someone asked, what are macros and micros? Well, those two words, macros is short for macronutrient. And if you look on the back of any packaged food at the grocery store, you know the nutrition label. It has how many grams of fat, how many grams of carb, how many grams of protein in the back, plus some other things, trans fats, sugar, blah, blah, blah. But those three things, fat, carb, and protein, are macronutrients in all foods. And all foods have a little of this, a little of that, maybe all of this, none of this. So they all have macronutrients in them. And that's how we figure out what to eat. Micronutrients are more the micronutrients that you would see in food, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes. You know, plant foods are full of micronutrients. So that's the macro-micro definition. How does alcohol affect training? So I know you've all been waiting for this question. And how can a serious bodybuilder work in alcohol / wine in their macros socially? How does alcohol affect training? Well, that's another one of those questions that's a little bit broad. Like, do you mean drinking before training? Do you mean being hungover the next day in training? Do you mean just having a drink now and then? Not getting drunk, but enjoying it socially? Does it affect training? That you have to figure out, okay? I was a party girl in college. I loved going to the disco. I loved dancing. I loved going out. I loved nightclubs, la, la, la. I loved alcohol. I don't drink now just because, first of all, it doesn't do anything for me. And I just don't. I don't like the taste. Hard alcohol, it's just not for me. Is it bad? No, someone can work it into their macros. I have a very good friend who's a professional bodybuilder. She's also a wine sommelier. She loves wine. To her, it's an art. And she drinks regularly. So the only thing is, if you're early in your, I'd say, workout routine, alcohol can get you off track really fast. You can work alcohol, like a glass of wine, into your macros. I think 5 ounces of red wine is 37 carbs. And if you're trying to build muscle and lose fat, and let's say your carbs are only 150 for a day, almost a third is you've just drank in only 5 ounces of red wine. Some days it might be worth it. But once you start substituting your macros for more alcohol than you need, you aren't getting nutrients. You aren't getting, the nutritional nutrient-dense value that you need from food to build muscle. And also, you're not going to be satisfied. The satiety level is going to be, if you look at 37 carbs of 5 ounces of red wine, and then you look at 37 carbs, and that might be a rice cake with some almond butter on it, what's going to like fill you up better? So those are just personal decisions that you have to make. And also, I think once you get, you had a few glasses of wine on the weekend, you go out, you didn't really plan for it, but you're like, yeah, I've been so good all week, and you have a few glasses of wine, and then suddenly you really don't care about your macros, and you're going to eat whatever's in front of you, and yeah. So it's early on, you have to have the discipline to see how it's going to affect you. And then I read once from this psychologist, I forget his name, that the true mark of maturity or a mature adult is accepting delayed gratification. So once you figure it all out and your body's working the way it should, then you can get some of these gratifying habits worked into your plan, because now you know how to do it and where they go. Do you ever have a glass of wine? Or 2 or 3? No, I don't. Sorry, guys. I'm just not a drinker. Have you ever gone over your macros for any reason? Sure, absolutely. I mean, there was a day, when was it? A couple weeks ago. There's just days you need comfort food. You need something warm. You need something sweet. And I went over my macros on one day because I needed that. And I have a recipe for mug cake, which is a high protein, really it's a dessert. You put it in the microwave. It's got eggs and protein powder and cottage cheese, and I put sugar-free caramel syrup and blueberries and walnut. It's so good. And it's good for you because it's high protein, but it wasn't in my macros. It was like, I should be having chicken and rice and salad tonight, and I just thought, no. So I decided I would go over my macros and I would enjoy that, and I did enjoy it. It was like I was giving myself a gift. So if I had restricted myself or been on some kind of plan where I have to restrict myself, then that would not be good. I would probably on weekends be going off, and I know I've done that in the past when I've had a meal plan. So those are all the questions I got, and I'm just going to do a little bit of update on the masterclass for anybody that's interested. I'm thinking of maybe doing some consults. A lot of women asked, would this class be appropriate for me? Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's 4 sessions, Tuesdays, 4 in a row, from 3 to 4:30. It's a 90-minute session. It's really about mindset. It's basic nutrition, basic weightlifting, but when I say basic, there's so many nuances within that. I've had people that have been bodybuilding for years who took the last class, and they loved it. They learned a lot. We learn a lot from each other. And if you can't make the live session, it's all recorded. There's worksheets. It's not just, you guys got to work. You got to work. There's journaling. There's visioning. There's really an exploration of your own motivations and what's sabotaged you in the past, and setting up an entire new mindset, spirit, mind, body, all those wheels working together as a foundation for really going into it seriously. And if you're a queenager, the world needs you. The world needs your energy, your brilliance, your shining personality. Wherever I go in the world, and I've traveled a lot, the women I meet in my age group, and I'll say 10 years younger, 10 years older, maybe even 15 years younger, 10 years older, we just immediately connect and bond because there is this wisdom and there's this life experience we all carry around after 50, maybe after 45, that is so valuable, and society sees us as being invisible. And I think one of the reasons that is because we're so powerful. My God, a woman, I always say 60s and the 60s are my power decade. I have never felt more powerful. And I'm not a wallflower, as you can probably tell. I've never been a shy little wallflower. I've always gone after my goals. I've always gone after what I've wanted, and sometimes I didn't get what I wanted. I got what I needed to learn. But when you're at this age, we are so powerful, and you are so amazing. You have to be healthy. You have to feel good to fulfill your purpose in life. Because if you don't feel good, everybody's missing out on you, your energy, your brilliance, what you have to give the world. And women, I have never felt stronger about this, are the most amazing creatures on the planet. And I always think, my God, we bring life into the world. We give birth. And even if you've not had children, you still have that magic of giving birth to your dreams, giving birth to your best life. And, if it's childbirth, of course we need the help of the guys or, artificial insemination, what have you. But you are so important. You're so important. And the first person that needs to realize that is you. You need to realize and love yourself enough to get strong and healthy and share yourself with the world. All right, my loves, it's been 40 minutes. And like I said, I wanted your questions beforehand because I can't read the little type on the thingy. Thank you so much for joining me on this Saturday. I love talking to you. I love sharing. I love answering questions. I'm not a guru, and I don't want to be on a pedestal because all of you have the brilliance and the energy and the smarts to do your own research. I'm just here to help, share, and hopefully celebrate your transformation when it comes. So keep your messages coming, and I thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you. Love you guys.